Speaker, the President of the United States stood here in the well the other night, and one of the things he said that was met with a great deal of applause was that there wasn't going to be one dime, not one dime of new taxes on anybody making under $250,000 a year, any family making under $250,000 a year. And yet what was omitted from his talk was the cost to every single person because of a tax increase that's kind of hidden. It's called the cap and trade tax increase, and it's going to cost about $65 billion a year, and it deals with carbon dioxide emissions. Every time we use coal or gas or any substance to create energy in this country, it emits carbon dioxide. And so $65 billion in new taxes are going to be levied on business that will be passed on to consumers in the form of higher prices on their electricity, their gasoline, their oil, their food, and almost anything they buy, because anything they buy is made from energy. And the energy in this country is going to be taxed up to $65 billion a year with this cap and trade tax that the President's got in his budget. The American people simply don't realize that. Now, there was an interview that was on it was on Fox the other night, and I want to read to you just a little bit about that. First of all, let me just say that Peter Orszag, the former CBO director and current OMB director down at the White House, verified that energy taxes designed to decrease carbon emissions like those in President Obama's budget will be passed on to the American families, and this will be passed on in the form of higher prices to every family, in the form of higher prices for energy, food, lodging, and everything else. Senator Obama, when he was in the Senate, admitted during a presidential campaign, said, under my plan of cap and trade, electricity rates would necessarily skyrocket. And on Fox the other night, Jim Angle was reporting on the cap and trade issue, and he said almost every activity in the U.S. economy emits carbon dioxide. But President Obama wants to impose a cap on total emissions throughout the economy and charge industry a new tax of at least $65 billion a year for their current activities. Now, when the President said he's not going to tax any family making under $250,000 a year, that's erroneous, because when you take the tax, they're going to have to pay indirectly for the cost of food, lodging, energy of any kind. It's going to result in thousands and thousands of dollars to every family. When you turn on your lights in your house, when this budget is passed, you will be paying much more money for your electricity. When you buy gasoline at the pump, you're going to pay more for your gasoline. When you get fuel oil or coal or anything else that you use for energy, you're going to be paying because of this tax that's being passed in this budget by this President. And it's going to be on everybody, not just the people making under $250,000. It's going to be on everybody. Every man, woman, and child who lives in this country that uses energy will be taxed. And I think the American people need to know that. That's why I'm down here on the floor, because when they say they're not going to raise your taxes, and that everybody making under $250,000 is not going to pay one dime more in taxes, they're not telling you the whole story. You are going to pay more in taxes, and you're going to pay through the nose. I yield back to balance my time.
The gentleman yields back his time. For what purpose does the gentlelady from Nevada rise?
I rise to address the House for 5 minutes.
Without objection.